Today I'm going to show how to make these Chinese Red Bean Mooncakes for the Mooncake Festival this week. Now these need to be made about 3 days ahead of time so that their golden brown skin has time to soften. Now to make these mooncakes you'll need lye water, which is also known as potassium bicarbonate and sodium bicarbonate solution. Now you can find this in most Chinese grocery stores. Next is golden syrup, which you should be able to find in most larger grocery stores. Then I'm just using some all-purpose flour and some peanut oil. And for the filling, you'll need red bean paste. Now you can find this canned in most Asian grocery stores, but I like to make my red bean paste by hand, and you can find my recipe here. So first, let's make the dough. In a large bowl, mix together a half a cup of the golden syrup, a third of a cup of the peanut oil, and a teaspoon of the lye water. Whisk this until it's combined. Now this takes about 3 minutes. Then slowly add in 1 1/3 cups of the flour, just a little at a time, while constantly stirring with the whisk. Now once this becomes too thick for the whisk, you want to take the whisk out and fold in the rest of the flour using a spoon. Then using your hand, knead it for about 30 seconds. Then just cover it and let it sit for at least 4 hours at room temperature. Now I usually let mine sit overnight. So the next day the dough looks like this. Now what you want to do next is find out how much dough and filling you need for your particular mooncake mold. Now this is the mold that I always use, and in total it holds 60 grams. So I'm going to use 45 grams of filling and 15 grams of the dough for the skin for the mooncakes. So you just need to figure out the ratio for your particular mooncake mold. So with this dough, I'm going to weigh out 15-gram balls on a scale like this. And I'm just going to do this with the entire bowl of dough, and then just set these aside on a plate at room temperature. And I'm going to do the same thing with the filling, just measure out 45 grams, and then I'm going to roll each of these into a ball. Now you want to make sure that the red bean paste is cold before rolling because it will make it a lot easier. So make sure that the bean paste is refrigerated before you start rolling them into balls. Next, we want to place the filling ball inside the ball of dough. Now to do this, you first want to make sure that both of these are room temperature before starting. That'll make it a whole lot easier. Then just press the dough ball flat and slightly stretch it. This dough is stretchy, almost like pizza dough. Then place the red bean filling ball inside the center and just press the filling while stretching the dough up and around the filling like this. Now while you do this, keep in mind that you want the skin to be even around the filling, though you will have a small seam on the bottom. Then just roll it into a ball like this. Now you want to do this for all of the filling balls and dough. And once they're complete, just lightly grease a baking sheet. Now the next step is to mold the cakes, and what we're going to do is first lightly flour the cakes by just dabbing it in and rubbing it so that it just has a light dusting of flour. We don't want too much flour, we just want it to be a very light coating. Then you want to place it in the mold seam side up and press firmly. Now once it's firmly pressed into the mold, to remove it, you're just going to tap it lightly on each side. And as you can see, once it's tapped, it pulls away from the opposite side. So just tap this on all sides of the mold. And you want to make sure that you see that all of the edges have pulled away. And then you can just bang it out like this. And there you have your mooncake. And now I'm just going to take these and place them onto the prepared baking sheet. Next, preheat the oven to 325 degrees Fahrenheit and make the egg wash. Now to make the egg wash, I'm just beating 1 small egg, and I'm just going to mix about 2 teaspoons of water with this. Now once the oven preheats, we want to place the cakes on the top rack and bake them for 5 minutes. Now we're going to do this before we add the egg wash. Then after 5 minutes, remove them and brush them lightly with the egg wash. Now you want to do this very gently so that you don't mess up the design. Then place them back in the oven for 10 minutes. After 10 minutes, lightly baste them with the egg wash again and cook them for another 5 minutes. Then you can remove them from the oven and place them on a plate. Now these need to sit for a couple days just to allow their skin to soften. So once they're cool, I'm just going to cover them with some plastic wrap and let them sit at room temperature for about 2.5 days. And after 2.5 days, they are ready to serve. Now I hope everyone enjoyed this recipe, and I hope everyone has a wonderful moon festival this year. And if you want to see more recipes, you can follow me at the links below on Pinterest, Twitter, and Facebook. Thank you so much for watching, and have a wonderful day.